Can't get you off my mind. Do 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 do. Can't get you off my mind. Do 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 do. Can't get you off my mind. Do 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 do. I'll even try. Okay, we want to go to here, view on YouTube, so we can get the chat. Won't even try. Boop 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 boop. For the king. Oh, sorry. I was 4 measures off. For the king, for the king, for the king of time. No, no, no. Okay, let's get to. I gotta look that up on my phone. Skyrim, the real Barenziah. That's what we're doing. We're getting another book series today. Yes, I've got a bright lead ripstick on our queue, because I just ordered another thing off of Temu, because I'm a little insane. Oh, what am I doing? Haha! Haha! So I'm changing my— oh, blood! Fluff! Okay, why did that turn off? Don't like that turned off. Turn camera. Put that back on. Turn camera. We're getting there. We're figuring it out. Yeah, we're figuring it out. We got this. If I put this here, can I create like a little pocket so that it no longer dies? Right, like what if I took this, turned it upside down, spun it around this thing? That doesn't help at all. Alright, cool. Hi, hello, shalom. Talking real close into the mic today. Hopefully sound quality makes it better. I need to get used to the fact that you are all the way over there. Even though mostly I'm going to be looking that way at the game, I can sometimes look to you over there, and then I'm going to look down there at the chat. Game, you, game, chat. Game, you, game, chat, microphone. Phone, used for figuring out where we're going. Whoop. Where are we going? Book 1. Where are you? I know nothing about this book series, by the way. I just looked it up and it said, something something princess survives. I said, yep, well, we're gonna go get that book series. I am here for a princess book series. I want to find it. Yeah, Visa is book locations in Skyrim. Can be bought from the dude from the Bard's College in Solitude in a box on the upper floor. In the Breeze home of Whiterun, in the alchemy room. What? It's in my house. Let's go get it. We gotta go get the alchemy room though. Because I'm not gonna use. Oh, do I have any money? I guess I should check first. I have money. Since when do I have money? Why do I have so much money? I just spent so much money. This is gonna be the easiest book obtainment that we've ever done. Alright, we started the Breeze home. We go upstairs. We buy it. We come right back down. It's easy not only in like time, but in brain power. It's almost automatic whenever you don't fall off the stairs, because we take the stairs so much. We shouldn't fall off them. Slight hiccup in our plans, but I think that we should still be able to fast run this. I think our speed run to obtain this book should be okay. Speed run starting from when we started our goal to go get it, alright? Not from the beginning of the game, but when we decided to have the book. Speedrun. Don't worry, I do still have my wolf ears on. Because, yes. But I got more things off of Tamu, including these cute little earrings. Right? I don't know if you can see them well. I need something, like, white to put behind them. This is solely going into our, speed run time. But, look, okay? It's a little, it's a little ghosty. It's a little sheet ghosty with a pumpkin on top. And then on the very top where it connects to the ear, it's a little bow. Adorable. I also got some lipstick off of Tamu, which comes in this, like, Egyptian packaging, which is really, really cool. And then it's, like, black lipstick, but it turns into this bright, bright red. Good stuff. Hey, who do I talk to? I don't talk to the wizard dude. I talk to the annoying dude over here, who's usually over here. Is he eating? Okay, well, we've lost our speed run, possibly. Okay, where is this boy? He's really screwing with our speed run. I'm sorry, is it because I called you annoying that you're hiding? I'm sorry. I mean, you're really cool, and you're probably helpful to the king, and that's all that matters. You should define your own worth. Don't listen to me. Just come back, please. Where would he go? Nope, don't pull that out. That's just a child. Alright, so if I wait here for a couple hours, what do you think? Will he just show up and have dinner?
I serve Jarl Balgruff as
There you are!
the Jarl
Actually
is,
perfect.
As you can imagine. I'll be glad to help you. And of course, now, what would you like to purchase?
Alchemy
Very
laboratory!
well. Is there anything else you'd like to purchase?
Nope, I do not want a child's room, please. I'm gonna go get a book. This is why I love Switch controllers. One hand is way up here, the other is like way down here. And that's my favorite part, is just being able to sit in any position you want. Have your hands miles away from each other. And then you can still play with relative ease. My hand is functioning. Oh, hi, ma'am.
Don't take this the wrong way, but you look a little sickly.
Oh, I will listen to that advice immediately. That usually means I have vampirism, and I want to take that off before I become a vampire again. Because that's not good stuff.
Looking for my husband, Nazim? Check the Jarl's backside.
Whoop. That's where he usually stuffs himself these days. That's kind of, ma'am, I don't know if you know what you said, but it's not good. Okay. Now we're going back home. I think that we should read the first book. Alright? Before we commit ourselves to a task that might be awful. Let's read the first book. See if we like it. Then we can keep going. I need to not pick the flowers around my house because then it will look bad and I don't like that. I want to have a pretty house. We can pick the flowers from the rest of Skyrim. I think the alchemy room is back here. I don't think this door was here before. There we go. Oh, and the real one, the second one is right there. Speed run! We didn't even start that quest. I'm gonna pick it up. All right, just so I can have. I wonder if the other three are here. I wonder if we could just check, because that would be insane. And then we get into these. We have the whole series already. I'm so glad we checked. We didn't even need to buy the alcohol. Okay. Fantastic. All right, you ready, kids? I didn't think we'd be getting to this portion of the video already. Oh, fluff. I just added all of the books. Wow. I think that because we were at 200 weight before, we have over 200 books. I think that's what that means. Where's our books? Can we please put all of them back up? Yeah, all of them. Can we put them all back up? Just wait for me as I put up 200 books real quick. Yeah, do that. Apparently that's a quest. I can't believe we had it. Oh man, okay, so that's what we gotta check from now on, is if we're starting a book series, just check to see if we already have it. Alright, I know there's some spell books in there that we can definitely sell. I'll deal with that eventually. Can I? Yeah, I think I can read the books while they're inside the shelf, so I'm gonna do that instead of getting them out into my inventory again. There we go. Alright, good stuff, good stuff. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. That's insane. Well, I guess we're doing 2 different book series today. Because, like, I still want to adventure. I still want to adventure looking for a book. But now we have 2 complete copies instead of just 1 complete copy. 1 for you, 1 for me. Alright, I gotta sit up properly in order to read a book. There you go. Y'all ready? It's reading time. With Mama. By Anonymous. 500 years ago, in Mournhold, City of Gems, there lived a blind widow and her only child, a tall, strapping young man. He was a miner, as was his father before him, a common laborer in the mines of Lord Mournhold. Yeah, the RN keeps looking like an M, like it's Mournhold. For his ability in Magicka was small. The work was honorable, but paid poorly. His mother made and sold common cakes at the city market to help eke out their living. They did well enough, she said. She said. Okay, are we interviewing the mom? They had enough to fill their bellies. No one could wear more than 1 suit of clothing at a time, and the roof leaked only when it rained. When should it leak any other time? But Simakias would have liked more. He hoped for a lucky strike at the mines, which would have garnered him a large modus. In his free hours, he enjoyed hosting a mug of ale in the tavern with his friends. And I am sick. I am now just realizing how snotty my nose sounds. Well, I am sorry that our reading is not going to be perfectly even today. But, you know, better existing than non-existing, I always say. Ha 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 ha. And at least it won't sound like this. It will probably sound better like this. More like this. Gambling with them at cards. He also drew the eyes and size. Aww, I love that saying. Of more than one pretty elven lass, though none held his interest for long. He was a typical dark elf with a pleasant peasant descent. Remarkable only for his size, it was rumored that he had a bit of Nordic blood in him. In Simakias' 13th year? 13th, not 30th. No, it is 30th. 30th. I'm quite awful. There was a great rejoicing for in Mournhold. A girl child had been born to the lord and lady. A queen, the people saying, a queen is born to us. For among the people of Mournhold, the birth of an heiress is the sure sign of future peace and prosperity. Are they female-led? Then when the time came round for the royal child's rite of naming, the mines were closed and Simachias dashed home to bathe and dress in his best. I'll rush straight home and tell you all about it, he promised his mother, who would not be able to attend. She had been ailing, and besides, there would be a great crush of people as all of Mournhold turned out to be a part of the blessed event. and being blind, she would have been unable to see anything anyways. My son, she said, afore you go, not before, but afore you go, fetch me a priest or a healer, else I may pass from the mortal plane ere you return. Simitrius crossed to her palate once and noted anxiously that her forehead was very hot and she breathed shallow. He pried loose a slat of wooden floor underneath their small hoard of savings, was kept. There wasn't nearly enough to pay a priest for healing. He would have to give what they had and owe the rest. Simitrius snatched up his cloak and hurried away. The streets were full of folk hurrying to the sacred grove. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get better at reading out loud. I am way better than I was a couple years ago. You're just gonna have to deal with me until, like, I'm perfectly able to narrate these things first try, alright? I feel like I need to apologize for my inadequacy. Please like me anyways. I need to blow my nose eventually. Oh no. This was the worst timeline. But the temples were locked and barred, closed for the ceremony, all the signs read. Simitrius elbowed his way through the mob and managed to overtake a brown-robed priest. After the rite, brother, the priest said. If you have gold, I shall gladly attend to your mother. My lord has forbidden all clerks has bidden, not forbidden, but just bidded. All clerks attend, and I, for one, have no wish to offend him. My mother is desperately ill, Simitrius pleaded. Surely my lord will not miss one lowly priest? Sure. How dare you call me a lowly priest? But the Arcanon will, the priest said nervously, tearing his robe loose from Simitrius' desperate grip and vanishing into the crowd. Simitrius tried other priests, and even a few mages, but there was no better result. Armored guards marched through the street and pushed him aside with their lances, and Simitrius realized that the royal procession was approaching. As the carriage bearing the city's rulers drew abreast, Simitrius rushed from the crowd and shouted, my lord, my mother's dying. I forbid her to do so on this glorious night, the lord shouted, laughing and scattering coins into the throng. Simitrius was close enough to smell the wine on the royal breath. The other side of the carriage, his lady clutched to her babe to her breast and stared slit-eyed at Simitrius. Her nostrils flared in dismay. God, she cried, remove this oaf. Rough hands seized Simitrius. He was beaten and left dazed by the side of the road. Simitrius, head aching, followed the wake of the crowd and witnessed the rite of the naming at the top of the hill. He could see the brown-robed clerks and the blue-robed mages gathered near the high-born folk far below. Okay, why were the far below? Did he see them from far below? Or were the far below, are the highborns far below? A little confused. Barenziah. Barenziah or Barenziah? I like Barenziah. Barenziah. The name came dimly to Simitrius' ears as the high priest lifted the swaddled babe and proffed her to the twin moons on either side of the horizon. Joan rising, Jode setting. Joan and Jode? Is that the names of the moon? That is a set of, like, Batgirl twins. That is Joan and Jode. They are in a movie. They are running a yoga class. They are decorating a Sims 4 playthrough together. Behold, the Lady Barenziah, born to the land of Mournhold. Grant her thy blessing and thy counsel, ye gods, yet, that she may ever rule well over Mournhold. It is its kin and its warf, its kith and its ilk. Okay. Bless her, all the people intoned along the lord and lady, hands upraised. Only Simitrius stood silent, head bowed, knowing in his heart that his dear mother was gone. And in the silence he swore that a mighty oath that he should be that he should be his lord's bane, and in the vengeance for his mother's needless death, the child Barenziah he should have for his own bride? He is 30 years old, sir. And his mother's grandchildren would be born to rule over Mournhold. Okay, all right, not the appropriate. If you're gonna be the bane of someone, you would want to go kill their kid, right? Like that's where that sentence should have gone. That's not where that sentence went. After the ceremony, he watched impassively as the royal procession returned to the palace. He saw the priest whom he had first spoken. The man came gladly enough now in return for the gold Simichias had, and promised for more afterward. They found his mother dead. The priest sighed and tucked away the pouch of coins anyway. How dare! It's all right. You can forget the rest of the gold. It's aught that I do. There's aught I can do here. Likely give me back my money! Simichiah snarled. You have done naught to earn it! He lifted his right arm threateningly. The priest backed away, about to utter a curse, but Simichiah struck him across the face. More than 3 words had left his mouth. He went down heavily, striking his head sharply on one of the stones that formed the fire pit. He died instantly. Simichiah snatched up the gold and fled the city. He ran. He muttered one word over the other, like a sorcerer's chant. Barenziah, he said. Barenziah, Barenziah. Barenziah stood in one of the balconies of the palace, staring down into the courtyard where the soldiers milled, dazzling in their armor. Presently, they formed into ordered ranks and cheered as her parents, the Lord and Lady, emerged from the palace, clad from head to toe in ebony armor. We love ebony armor. Long purple-dyed fur cloaks flowing behind. Splendidly caparisoned, shining black horses they brought with them as they mounted and rode into the courtyard gates and turned to salute her. Barenziah, they cried. Barenziah, our beloved, farewell! The little girl blinked back tears and waved one hand bravely. Her favorite stuffed animal, a gray wolf cub she called Wolfen, adorable, clutched her breast with the other. Okay. She had never been parted from her parents before and had no idea what it meant, save that there was a war to the west and the name Timber Septim was on everyone's lips, spoken in hate and dread. Okay, is Timber Septim, I feel like he is one of the great-great-grandfathers of the Wolf Queen. I think that's where I think that this is happening a couple hundred years. Like 100 or more years before the Wolf Queen. I'm gonna go with 100 years. That seems like enough generations. I would like to find out, because that would be cool, because that name is familiar, and I'd like to be able to connect these worlds. I mean, like, it is all happening in the same world. We're in this world called Skyrim, which is so cool. But yeah, Barenziah, the soldiers cried, lifting their lances and swords and bows. Then their dear parents turned and rode away, knights trailing in their wake, until the courtyard was nearly emptied. Sometime after came a day when Barenziah was shaken awake by her nurse, dressed hurriedly, and born in the palace. And born from the palace. I guess, like, taken. I think that's probably the use of born there with an E. It's fun words today. All she could remember was that dreadful time of seeing a huge shadow with burning eyes filling the sky. She was passed from hand to hand. Foreign soldiers appeared, disappeared, and sometimes reappeared. Her nurse vanished and was replaced by strangers, some more strange than others. There were days, or may have been weeks, of travel. One morning, she awoke to step out of the coach into the cold place with large gray stone castle amidst empty, endless, gray-green hills covered patchily with gray-white snow. She clutched Wolfen to her breast in both hands and stood blinking and shivering in the gray dawn, feeling very small and very dark in this endless place, the endless gray-white space. She and is it Hannah or Canna? I'm gonna put Hannah, but that's like with a lowercase h. It could even be Banna. I'm gonna go with Hannah. She and Hannah, a brown-skinned, black-haired maid who had been with her traveling for several days, went inside the keep. A large gray-white woman with icy gray-golden hair was standing by the hearth in one of the rooms. She stared at Barenziah with dreadful, bright blue eyes. "She's very black, isn't she?" the woman remarked to Hannah. "I've never seen a dark elf before." "I don't know very much about them myself, my lady," Hannah said. "But this one's got red hair and a temper to match. I can't tell you that. Take care. She bites. And worse. Are you... Oh, no. Is she a maid now? Okay. I'll soon train her out of that," the other woman sniffed. "Is she a slave now? I don't know. She stepped out of a carriage. That makes me think that, she's been treated pretty okayly this whole time." My first thought is etiquette teacher. When I say train of royalty, etiquette teacher. But I don't know why should we need to be etiquette right now. The other woman sniffed. "And what's that filthy thing she's got? Ugh, how dare you!" The woman snatched Wolfen away and threw it into the blazing hearth. I'd kill. Hold on real quick. Hi, I have a teddy bear that I have slept with every night since I got him when I was like 6 or 7 years old. I'm gonna go with 6. I am 23. If someone were to put him in a fire, A, I would next be in that fire, going to salvage his remains. B, I would kill them. I would probably kill them. This is me to say, Barenziah, kill. Very hateful today. Ugh! The woman snatched Wolfen away and threw him into the blazing fire. Go back. Barenziah shrieked and would have flung herself after him, but was held back desperately, despite her attempts to bite and claw at her captors. Poor Wolfen was reduced to a tiny heap of charred ash. I'd be so angry. I'd be livid. For days. Barenziah grew up like a weed transplanted into Skyrim's garden, a ward of Count Sylvan and his wife, Lady Igna. Outwardly, that is, she thrived, but there was always a cold and empty place within. Yeah, because you killed her Wolfen. I raised her as my own daughter, Lady Igna was wont to sigh as she sat gossiping. Was wont to sigh? I don't like that. I don't like the wording. As she sat gossiping with neighbor ladies came to visit. But she's a dark elf. What can you expect? Barenziah was not meant to overhear these words. At least she thought she was not. Her hearing was keener than that of her Nordic host. Other, less desirable dark elven traits evidently include pilfering, lying, and a little misplaced magic, just as a little fire spell here and there, and a little levitation spell, just like a little fire spell, little levitation spell. Oopsies! And, as she grew older, a keen interest in boys and men who could provide very pleasant sensations, and to her astonishment, gifts as well. Ooh, I can get sex and money. Igna disapproved of this last for reasons incomprehensible to Barenziah, as she was careful to keep it as a secret as possible. She is wonderful with children, Igna added, referring to her 5 sons, all younger than Barenziah. I won't think that she's ever let them come to harm. A tutor had been hired when Joni was 6 and Barenziah was 8, and they took their lessons together. She would have liked to train in arms as well, but the very idea scandalized Court 7. It's gonna be Court 7. Sven. Probably Sven. Sven. It's very aggressive. Sven and Lady Igna. So Barenziah was given a small bow and allowed to play at target shooting with the boys. She watched them in arms practice whenever she could, sparring with them when there was no grown-up folks were about, and knew she was very good, or better than they. She was as good as, or better than they. She's very proud, though, isn't she? One of the ladies would whisper to Igna, and Barenziah, pretending to not hear, would nod silently in agreement. She could not help but feel superior to the court and his lady. It's the counts, isn't it? To the count and his lady. There was something about them that provoked contempt. I'd agree. Afterwards, she came to learn that Sven and Igna were distant cousins of the Darkmoor Keep's last titled residents, and she had finally understood. They were posers, imposters, not rulers at all. At least, they were not raised to rule. This thought made her strangely furious at them. A good, clean hatred, quite detached from resentment. She came to see them as disgusting and repellent insects who would be despised but never feared. This is a long book. Once a month, a courier came from the Emperor, bringing a small bag of gold for Sven and Igna and a large bag of dried mushrooms from Merylwind from Barenziah, her favorite treat. On these occasions, she was always made to look presentable, or at least as presentable as a skinny dark elf could be made to look in Igna's eyes, before being summoned into the courier's presence for a brief interview. The same courier seldom came twice, but all of them looked her over in much the same way as a farmer would look over a hog he was readying for market. Ugh. In the spring of her 16th year, Barenziah thought the courier looked as if she was at last ready for market. Ugh. Upon reflection, she decided that she did not wish to be marketed. The stable boy, Straw. The stable boy is named Straw. Okay, observing that. Moving on. A big, muscular, blonde lad, clumsy, gentle, affectionate, and rather simple, had been urging her to run off for some weeks now. Barenziah stole a bag of gold the courier had left, took the mushrooms from the storeroom, disguised herself as a boy in one of Joni's old tunics and a pair of his cast-off breeches, and on one fine spring night, she and Straw took 2 of the best horses in the stable and rode hard into the night towards Whiterun, the nearest city of any importance, and the place where Straw wanted to be. But Morrowind and Morrowind also lay eastward. Mournhold and Morrowind, bloody fluff, also lay eastward, and they drew Barenziah as a lodestone draws iron. I bet a lodestone is a magnet, but just not called a magnet yet. In the morning, they abandoned the horses at Barenziah's instance. She knew that they would be missed and tracked down, and she hoped to throw off any pursuers. They continued on foot until late afternoon, keeping to the side roads, and slept for several hours in an abandoned hut. They went on at dusk and came to Whiterun's city gates just before dawn. Barenziah had prepared a pass of sorts for Straw, a makeshift document stating an errand to the temple in the city for a local village lord. She herself glided over the wall with the help of a levitation spell. She had reasoned correctly, as it turned out, that now the gate guards would have been alerted to keep an eye out for a young dark elven girl and a Nordic boy traveling together. On the other hand, unaccompanied country yokels, like Straw, were common enough sight. Alone with the papers, it was unlikely that he would draw attention. Her simple plan went smoothly. She met Straw at the temple, which was not far from the gate. Aw, I know about that temple. I go there. I was just there. I'm in Whiterun right now. I go to that temple all the time. They're talking about my city. Oh, I'm putting these things together now in my brain, and that's pretty cool. She met Straw at the temple, which was not far from the gate. It's kind of far from. It's like in the middle of the city. It's a bit far from the gate. And she had been to Whiterun on a few previous occasions. Straw, however, had never been more than a few miles from Sven's estate, which was his birthplace. Together they made their way to a run-down inn in the poorest quarters of Whiterun. Gloved, cloaked, and hooded against the morning chill, Barenziah's dark skin and red eyes were not apparent, and no one paid heed to them. They entered the inn separately. Straw paid the innkeeper for a single cubicle, an immense meal, and 2 jugs of ale. Barenziah sneaked in a few minutes later. They ate and drank together gleefully, rejoicing in their escape, and made love vigorously on the narrow cot. Afterwards, they fell into an exhausted, dreamless sleep. This is long for the first book? How many pages is this? They stayed a week at Whiterun. Straw earned a bit of money running errands, and Barenziah burgled a few houses at night. She continued to dress as a boy. She cut her hair short and dyed her flame-red tresses jet black to further the disguise, and kept out of sight as much as possible. There are a few dark elves in Whiterun. One day, Straw got them work as temporary guards for a merchant caravan traveling east. The one-armed sergeant looked at her dubiously. Hoo-hoo. He chuckled. Dark elves, aren't ya? You like setting a wolf to guard a sheep. That is, still, I need arms, 'cause I only got one, and we ain't going near enough Merwin so we can tray us to y'all folk. We're not going to Merrowwind, so the fact that you are one of our guards doesn't matter, because we're not going over there where you can give them a secret message and have them come attack us. That's what's going on. Okay. Our homegrown bandits would as faint cut your throat as mine. The sergeant turned to give Straw an appraising look. Then he spun back abruptly towards Barenziah, whipping out his short sword. But she had her dagger in the twinkling of an eye, and was in a defensive stance. Straw drew his own knife and circled around the man's rear. The sergeant dropped his blade again and chuckled again. Not bad, kids, not bad. How are ye with the bow, dark elf? Barenziah demonstrated her prowess briefly. Hey, not bad at all. And ye been keen an eye by night, boy, of hearing of tall, and of, is it hearing or bearing? Tall times? Your accent's a little thick, sir. I'm not quite sure what you've just said. A tussling dark elf makes a good fighting man, as any could ask for. I know, I served under Summertrinus. Oh, bloody fluff. Why is he back? Himself before I lost this arm and got invalid over to the Emperor's army. We could betray them. I know folk who'd pay well, Straw said later as they bedded down for their last night at a ramshackle lodge. Or rob them ourselves. They're very rich, those merchants are, Barry. Oh, Barenziah's going by Barry? Okay, it should definitely be Barry with an A, but I'll accept it. Barenziah laughed. Whatever would you do with so much money? And besides, we need their protection for traveling quite as much as they need ours. We could buy a little farm, you and me, Barry, settle down. It's all nice. All nice-like. Peasant? Peasant, Barenziah thought scornfully. Straw was a peasant and harbored nothing but peasant dreams. But all she said was, "Not here, Straw. We're too close to Darkmoor still. We'll have other chances farther east." The caravans went only as far as east as Sungard. The Emperor Tibsibdom I had done much in the way of building relatively safe and regularly patrolled highways. But the trolls were asleep, and this particular caravan kept to the side roads as much as possible to avoid them. This exposed them to the hazards of wayside robbers, both human and orcish, and roving bargan bands of various races. But such were the perils of trade and profit. They had 2 such encounters before reaching Sungard: an ambush which Barenziah's keen ears warned them in plenty of time to circle about and surprise the lurkers, and a night attack by mixed bandits of Khajiit, Ayo! Humans and wood elves. The latter was skilled band, and even Barenziah did not hear them sneaking up in time to give much warning. This time the fighting was fierce. The attackers were driven off, but two of the caravan's other guards were slain, and Straw got a gnarly cut. It says nasty, but I like gnarly. Cut on his thigh before he and Barenziah managed to gash his Khajiit assailant's throat. Aw. Did they make a nice rug? Barenziah rather enjoyed the life. The garrulous sergeant had taken a liking to her, and she spent most of her evening sitting around the campfire listening to his tales of camping in Morrowind with Tibur Centum and General Simichios. This Simichios had been made general after Mournhold fell. Okay, so this is the same Mournhold. Did Simichios join the army against Mournhold? Woof. He doesn't seem like he's too, trying to find this lady here. He doesn't seem too concerned with Barenziah. He kind of seems like he's doing his own life, and he's just gonna get to Barenziah later. He's at least 46 now. He's too old to me. He's 30 years older than her. That's too old. I don't like it. Yeah, olden times, but I still don't like it. After Mournhold fell, the sergeant said, he's a fine soldier, boy, Simichios is, but there's more in soldiery involved than Morrowind business, if you take what I mean. But, well, you know about that, I suspect. Not really? No, I don't remember, Barenziah said, trying to sound nonchalant. I lived most of my life in Skyrim. My mother married a Skyrim man. They're both dead, though. Tell me, what happened to the Lord and Lady of Mournhold? The servant shrugged. I ain't never heard. Dead as spect. 'Twas a lot of fighting before that armistice got signed. Oh, okay. It's pretty quiet now. Maybe too quiet. Like coming for a storm. Say, boy, you ain't going back there? Oh, Barenziah is still passing as a boy. Does Barenziah get periods? Do Dark Elves period? When do they period? Is she just really good at hiding it? Barenziah said. The truth is that she was drawn insatiably. Insatiably? Irresistibly. Haha. It's my dyslexia picking up the first part of the word, the last part of the word, and just filling in whatever I want in between. To Morrowind and Mournhold like a moth to a burning house. Straw sensed it and was unhappy about it. He was unhappy anyway, since they could not bed together, as she was supposed to be a boy. Barenziah rather missed it too, but not as much as Straw did, seemingly. The sergeant wanted them to sign on for the return trip, but gave them a bonus nonetheless when they turned the offer down, and parchments of recommendation. Aw, thanks. Straw wanted to settle down permanently near Sungard, but Barenziah insisted on them continuing their travels east. I'm the Queen of Mournhold by rights, she said, unsure of whether it was true or whether it was just a daydream she had made up as a lost, bewildered child. I want to go home. I need to go home. At least that was true. At least that was true. Okay. So she's not quite sure if she remembers this correctly. She's like, I think I'm royalty. I'm pretty sure I'm royalty. I'm a go. I want to go get that checked out. I've got this weird bump on my shoulder. I want to go get that checked out. My face is just kind of like washed. So see if I can get some more dimension in my nose. And like blow my nose, please. Good stuff. Ooh. Okay. The people I'm trying to get an interview with kind of just sent me back a thingamajig, and I'm gonna go check that email. Okay, so she sent me an email. Like, I have to take this little test thing to see if I qualify for the job. Please prepare before you begin to help manage your submission time, because it is a timed test. The results for this test will help you determine if you qualify for the position. Let me know if you're done. For further instructions, it can be completed on any device. Make sure to put your email. Okay. But she did tell me to please prepare beforehand, so I just like quick email. Hey, can you tell me a little bit more so that I could prepare adequately, kind of thing? Yeah. New data science job. Sure would like to get it. Have to pass the test. I don't remember anything. Hopefully we can just study beforehand and find out. Before I freak around, let me find out. My toes are cold. It's getting cold in here. Oh man, I was supposed to like be sitting back here playing today, but now I'm reading, so I'm like way up here. Alright. This is a long first book, right? Like this, I think this is a long first book. At least there's a lot happening in the book. It's either both those are true. Either a lot is happening in this book, or it is a long book, or it's both. After a few weeks, they managed to get places in another caravan heading east. By early winter, they were at Riften and nearing Morrowind border. I want to check the map. Because I thought that Riften was just like at the edge of our map. Is Morrowind like farther? I want to check the map. I want to see where these places are. But the weather had grown severe as days passed, and they were told no merchant caravans would be setting forth till mid-spring. Barenziah stood on the top of the city walls and stared across the deep gorge that separated Riften from the snow-clad mountain wall guarding Morrowind beyond. Alright, so they've gotten to Riften. They're trying to get to Morrowind, but they gotta wait some time. Barry, Straw said gently. Mornhold's a long way off yet, nearly as far as we've already come, and the lands between are wild, full of wolves and bandits and orcs and worse creatures. We have to wait for spring. There's Sigrad's Tower, Barry said, referring to the dark elven township that had grown up around an ancient minaret? Guarding the border between Skyrim and Morrowind. The bridge guards won't let me across, Barry. They're cracked Imperial troops. They're crack Imperial troops? What's a crack Imperial troop? They can't be bribed. If you go, you'll go alone. I won't try and stop you, but what will you do? Sinrog's Tower is full of Imperial soldiers. Will you become a washing woman for them, or a camp follower? No, Barenziah said slowly, thoughtfully. Actually, the idea was not entirely unappealing. She was sure she could earn a modest living by sleeping with the soldiers. It's like I can just whore myself out. It'll be fine. She had a few adventures with that sort as they crossed Skyrim, and when she dressed as a woman and slipped away from Straw. Oh, you whore. You lemon-stealing whore. She'd only been looking for a bit of variety. Straw was sweet, but dull. She'd been startled, but extremely pleased when the men she picked up offered her money afterward. She's like, I was just doing it for the fun, but then you gave me money. This sounds pretty sweet. Straw had been unhappy about it, though, and would shout at her and then sulk for days afterward if he caught her at it. He was quite jealous. He'd even threatened to leave her. Not that he ever did, nor could. She's just leading this kid on. But the Imperial Guards were tough and were a tough and brutal lot, by all accounts, and Barenziah had heard some very ugly stories during their treks. The ugliest of them, by far, had come from the lips of an ex-army veterans around the caravan campfire, and were proudly recounted. They'd been trying to shock her and Straw, she realized. They had been trying to shock her and Straw, she realized, but she also comprehended that there was some truth behind the wild tales. Straw hated that kind of dirty talk, and hated it even more that she had to hear it. But there was a part of him that was fascinated nevertheless. Barenziah sensed this, and had encouraged Straw to seek out other women. Aw. But he said that he didn't want anyone but her. She told him candidly that she didn't feel that way about him, but she did like him better than anyone else. Then why would you go with other men? Straw had asked on one occasion. I don't know. Straw sighed. They say dark elf women are like that. Barenziah smiled and shrugged. I don't know. Or no, maybe I do. Yes, I know. She turned and kissed him affectionately. I guess that's all the explanation there is. She's like, I guess I'm just doing it because I'm a dark elf. I guess that's just who I am. I like being me. Okay, so that's where she's 16, having troubles with Straw. I imagine he's going to be gone by this book. Do I have anything to drink? I do. That went down wrong. So I bet that the test she gave me was like a Google form. I wonder if I could take it twice. I could probably take it twice. Yeah, that sounds good to me. I'll send the email to myself. Log out of Google Chrome. Sign in as just like a guest Google Chrome. Take it the first time. That way my email is not tied to it. Just take it the first time, then take it a second time as something else. That'd be cool. Cool. Ah! Your mom is sick and plays and reads a Skyrim book. It's been an hour? We just started. Did it? How long did it take us to read that first book? Huh? No way it's been an hour. No way. No way. Hun, it took us 40 minutes to read that first book. That's insane. Okay, here we go. No, I don't want to pick that up. I want to read it. Read. There it is. By Anonymous. Barenziah and Straw settled into Riften for the winter, taking a cheap room in the slummier section of the town. Barenziah wanted to join the Thieves Guild, knowing that there'd be trouble if she was caught freelancing. One day, in a bar room, she caught the eye of a known member of the guild, a bold young Khajiit, named Thersis. She offered to bet him if he would sponsor her membership. He looked her over, grinning, and agreed, but said she'd still have to pass an initiation. What sort of initiation? Theris said. Pay up first, sweetness. This passage has been censored by order of the temple. Send to Iggy. Oh, we gotta go because I gotta call my friend. Never mind. Maybe I can't finish this today. All right, I'm hanging off. Bye.